We've talked on the YouTube channel about Outriders, which, guys, you guys can check out all of my Outriders content here on the YouTube channel. This is a game that is supposed to be, in my opinion, a spiritual successor to Gears of War. And I gotta say, I love this take on Outriders and what they're trying to kind of do here. I love the idea that this is supposed to be a spiritual successor to one of my favorite games of all time, that being Gears of War. Outriders has its own flavor, its own kind of, identity, so to speak, within this game. And obviously we haven't been able to get our hands on experience with this game as of yet. However, I gotta say I'm pretty excited about it. And in this segment of the show, I want to talk about the top 5 things that we want in Outriders. And when I say we, guys, I'm giving you guys my opinions here, which some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. But either way, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below about what things that you want to see in Outriders. So let's get into it. So for me, guys, coming in at number 1, one of the most important things, in my opinion, guys, when it comes to Outriders, a brand new IP coming out from People Can Fly, which, as well as being published by Square Enix, I think one of the most important things is to be yourself, to be your own game. Even though it's going to be a spiritual successor to Gears of War, I think it's going to be really important that this is a title that really has its own, own gameplay, own mechanics, and it doesn't take too much from Gears of War. And I gotta say, guys, it looks like from the gameplay, the mechanics, and things of that nature that we've seen at this point, it looks like it's going to be its own thing overall. It feels like Gears of War feels a little bit like Destiny. It's got like its own flavor on this genre, a third-person shooter that looks to be something pretty special, and I gotta say I'm excited about it, to say the least. Coming in, though, at number 2 is what I'd love to see out of this game is a semi-open world setting within the campaign. I think it would be really cool, guys, especially with a brand new IP. And Outriders can, of course, learn from the mistakes, the failures, as well as the successes of Gears of War. And I think one of the things that would have been really cool with Gears of War from the start would have been having a semi-open world setting where you can explore things in a major way. And I think that with Outriders, this could be really helpful. Having a semi-open world where you're not necessarily a full open world, but a semi-open world where you can explore, where you can learn more about the story, the lore that is Outriders. I think that could be really helpful moving into this title. I think it could give you a ton of just, backstory and history here so that you feel like you can connect more with these characters, because these are going to be brand new characters in this brand new IP. So I think it's going to be really important to have like a semi-open world setting. However, guys, I wouldn't mind if it's just like a linear story overall, but I would love that semi-open world feeling, to say the least. At number 3, guys, for me, is this kind of gets us to more so the multiplayer, but it also is relatable to the campaign. Now, a lot of the Gears of War titles, guys, the things that you do in some of these titles, I should say, in Gears of War, it's had a history of whatever you do in the campaign that translates over to the multiplayer. Whatever you do in the multiplayer translates to the horde mode or to whatever modes there are. This is something I would similarly like to see in Outriders. I would like to see where you're able to get earnable items, and those earnable items are good within the campaign. They're good within the multiplayer elements. Any kind of co-op modes that may come into Outriders. I think having it where everything that you're earning within the game, so it gets you to want to continue playing the game over time. Having those earnable items over the payable items that we've seen so recently and so, like, pretty much all the time within gaming, the microtransactions that kind of just really are put into all these games at this point, I would really like to see with Outriders. I'd like to see earnable items over payable items, because I think that having earnable items gets people to come back to the game over and over again. When you're in the in-game lobbies waiting for a game and a match to start in multiplayer, you can kind of see what other people's ranks are. You can see what emblems and titles they have. You can see how much time they've put into the game. That gets other people excited and gets people to want to put their time and their stamp on the game as well. So I think having earnable items over payable items makes a ton of sense, especially for a brand new IP. Don't have a bunch of microtransactions that are going to kind of like dilute the experience, so to speak. Coming in, guys, at number 4, I would love to see a variety here when we talk about, map sizes, characters, weaponry, things of that nature, a lot of variety here. And it looks like there is going to be some variety, of course. And this is mainly related to the multiplayer experience, guys. I just want to see a lot of variety here. From what we've seen so far, it didn't look like there was a ton of variety. Now, of course, they're only showing us so much within the game so far, but I just want to see a bunch of variety. The cover system looks very apparent here in Outriders, similar to that of like Gears of War. Some of the abilities look similar to that of like Destiny. And so they've got something really special here. I just want to see a nice variety though, where it doesn't I just don't want all the maps to look like this sandy, grainy feel. I kind of want it to have a variety, right? It's okay to have some maps that are sandy, some maps that are, have like, waterfalls and tropical rainforests and things of that nature. Having a lot of variety, I think, in the multiplayer experience is going to really get you, to want to like explore some of these maps, explore and like really get better at the best way in which you can strategize around playing the game. I think that's going to be really important. Having a number of different unlockable characters, unlockable weaponry, even, weapon skins and things of that nature. Like I said, earnable over payable, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with having payable things, guys. I just think making the earnable items being like look way better than the payable items. Like making it look more appealing to be earning stuff within the game, I think is going to be really important. So having that variety, though, guys, is going to be extremely helpful. And then coming in, guys, at number 5. For me, one of the biggest ways I believe that Outriders is going to set itself apart from some of these other games that come out is going to be like free-to-play elements of the game. And obviously, I'm not saying, and I say this all the time, but I think that a new IP like Outriders, having like a free-to-play multiplayer experience or having, free-to-play co-op experiences, whatever it might be, will really get people to try it out. You look at the grand landscape of games out there, guys, these AAA titles like Call of Duty, Fortnite and Apex and now, Hyperscape and Valorant and all these different games that are free to play or have elements that are free to play. Outriders could really do well if they made like their multiplayer experiences free to play, because it's going to get people to at least try it out, and it may even really help build the fan base in a major way over time. So I would love to see that, guys, out of Outriders. Just having elements that are free to play, and especially if you make it free to play, then it like justifies having more payable items within the game. And I just think that it would really help, especially with a brand new IP from People Can Fly. I don't anticipate there being a lot of free to play mechanics and elements to this game, but I would love to see that, to say the least, guys, especially from a multiplayer perspective. But those are the top 5 things, guys, that I would like to see in Outriders. What would you guys like to see? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Outriders content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.